worried that you might not catch a wave and you're worried you might not have fun, you might get in a crash with somebody, you might get hurt, there's always bellyboarding. And this is what I recommend for Koreans, is everybody should have a bellyboard.
You don't
need a really great wave. So I'm putting this right there, and the sun is really good lighting on it. And if you walk out to the rocks, you can film right down into it. Yeah.
Professional.
Oh no, I've made a lot of movies. Let's do this. Are you ready, Eric?
Yeah.
Since that day, I live in a dream. I live in a dream. Baby, you're my angel. I'll do anything to make you smile.
Stop, so gonna get on the ride, twisting and turning through life. No matter how rough it gets, I'll get by. Home moves with me where I roam. It's in every dream I make my own. I'm never alone. I know that every day will always bring me something new. Every day will bring me something new. So I spread all my footprints around, yeah. I know that every day will always bring me something new.
First of all, how much fun was that? We just got some great waves. And today, we wouldn't have really gone surfing normally because the surf is not very good for stand-up surfing. But for bellyboarding, it is great. So, this is my collection of bellyboards. What I love about bellyboarding is it has been popular all around the world for thousands of years that we know of. For example, this board is from Papua New Guinea, and I traded one of my old boards for this board. Actually, it wasn't a new board for this board. And so this is how, in the distant past, people made surfboards by chopping them. like that, out of old canoes and things. This board is from the United Kingdom, or UK, and it was probably made in around 1920. So it's 100 years old now, made out of oak, and people were surfing, thousands and thousands of South Africans and people in the UK, and all around the English sphere from England, they were all riding belly boards 100 years ago. This is probably the oldest surfboard ridden today. This is from Japan, and it's probably from the mid to late 1800s. And originally it wasn't glass. Now it has a little bit of glass on it to keep it together. And it was given to me and by a Japanese guy. And he was so impressed because I went to Japan and I said, does anybody ride wood surfboards here? And he said, no. In 2007, there was nobody riding wood surfboards here. And then we found out that some Japanese were riding boards like this in the 1800s. And then he went back to his grandfather's shed, and this was sitting in the shed. And he went to the old people and said, what's this? And they said, oh, your grandfather was a surfer. You didn't know that? This is like my favorite board because I made this with my daughter, and my daughter did this painting on it. So you can always do artwork on boards. And this is a bigger wave board, and it has a lot of flex in it, so you can see that it's really flexible. This board came from my friend from Japan, and it says Beach House number 5 in Japanese writing. Around 100 years ago, in the very south of Japan, there were places where people would go on vacation, and every vacation house had belly boards. And this board is meant to be surfed like this. So this is the front, this is the tail, this is an edge right here. And the amazing thing about this edge is that's what I use now on my finless surfboard, so that 100 years ago, they were using this edge, and then it took me 100 years ago 100 years of surfing to find it again. So now my most modern boards have this very same edge in it in the tail. So they were doing stuff, you know, way back in surfing. So it goes to show that the depth of the roots of the knowledge of surfing and how people were surfing really good a very long time ago, because you wouldn't put this edge in this board unless you were angling across waves and probably pulling into tubes, because this is a tube riding edge. Isn't that great? So you know how they were surfing by the look of the boards. And so when you go belly boarding, I love to bring all my boards, because when I ride this one, I think of big tube rides. When I ride this one, I have fun. When I ride this one, I pretend I'm in the UK and it's 100 years ago. And when I ride this one, I remember my times in Papua New Guinea. So all the different belly boards bring back different times to me. When making belly boards, they're pretty simple actually. I mean, look at all these different boards, and this is just a square piece of wood, and you got some great waves today. So you don't need this handle right here. This is the handle, because this is a seat cover. So in Japan, this, you know, is a very simple board as well, thick. But what I find is I like my boards to have flex, and I like this concave in the bottom here. The concave makes it a lot easier to catch a wave, if you can shape that in. And then the lift in the nose is not important, but it's it makes it a little bit easier to steer. But really, all you need is kind of a flat piece of wood. And the ancient Hawaiians made their boards very, very thin to get as close to the water as possible and to get just that more intimate feeling with the wave. This is a real example of an ancient Hawaiian surfcraft. Back, I think, in most of history, people always put art on their belly boards. So there's really simple. I'd love to come to Korea and make belly boards, because I love making belly boards with people and then help them, you know, catch the waves like you guys did.
How many waves did we catch? I must have caught 40. Raina must have caught 40 waves. We all caught
more than 40, I think.
Yeah, we're just exhausted now. We have caught so many waves, and we're so stoked right now. The surf's not great, but that doesn't matter. Bellyboarding just opens up surfing, all those waves, and you get maybe a better buzz, or at least the same buzz as you get from any other surf session. Yay! Bellyboarding! Bellyboarding rules!
Today,
Like,
Thanks, mate.
oh, thank you for today. Thank you for coming today. Yes.